that couch and how content he looked with that white twink's toes in his mouth. Sir, like, I don't know. I just feel like for African American advancement, there was no reason for you to put that on camera.
Treat women like children. All right? Don't talk to them about, if they not your woman, don't talk to them about sex. You just keep them at arm's length. And that's just the best way to do it, because it was funny in that conversation, that same gentleman who was saying the stuff that triggered the women, he said, the way that you talking is childish. And I said, sir, I know where you're going to. I know where you want to land at. But it ain't going to end where you want to. You ain't going to be outnumbered. So just
that men and women haven't been working together for that long, that Joe's only around sex workers and this and that. Like, my nigga, you literally, like, you shouldn't be around women. You should be quarantined from women. This podcast is sponsored by Graffiti Tax Services. For all your tax preparation needs, you can go to graffititax.com. We're going to put the link right here. It should be somewhere. And yeah, you can head to them for during tax season. And if you have any financial or tax preparation questions, head to Graffiti Tax Services. They're our new sponsor. Thank you to Graffiti Tax Preparation Services. That's it.
All right, we back.
What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? A long week.
It has been, yes.
But we back in the seats. Man, it's funny when anytime we get a new clip that kind of gets a little bit of engagement, because these folks be going crazy. I think I feel like little puppet masters when we sitting up here.
I knew that the people were going to mostly agree with me, because we gonna start calling him terrible take rhetoric at this point, because during the whole like back and forth, I was like, this nigga does not understand what I'm trying to beat into his head.
Like you got that because early engagement was on your side, but if you look at what they saying now, a lot of people are talking about what I'm saying, and he just has the people.
There's one thread.
No, there's multiple. Like, I just look at it, there's 3 comments in a row I just seen that was on my side. So
okay,
you just got to be ready. Like, when this comes, these terrible takes that you try to throw at me and try to like devalue my brand, like, just understand it comes from a place of just serious logic. You come from.
I'm trying to find these comments and I can't,
because you're lying. You're just lying to the people now. And that's all you want to do. You want to get up here and gaslight.
So 90% of the comments are agreeing with me, and then there's like a couple of stragglers that are agreeing with him. But I think it was a really fun debate to have in general. The whole, like, it was basically like a conscious rap versus pop rap argument, I think.
I mean, it's more of a what you're doing when you're putting out your product than it is anything. Yeah, you take 6 years, or the joke that I was basically making was you take that time to put out your project. That's cool. But in reverse, the person who is putting out content over and over and over and is still being looked at a high level, regardless if you think it's the greatest thing ever, that's a feat. That's a better feat to me.
Yeah, and I disagree. So, yeah, that was fun.
Are you tired of paying a lot of money for your vacation? My name is Shirley Proctor, and I am a partner with Tavodian, a traveling membership group. I can help you save time, money, help you and your loved ones see the world.
That was a cute little mix.
Yeah, that was actually like a mix in like the realest sense, where they just
like an actual DJ.
Yeah, no, they just took like vocals and they took like different beats and stuff, and then like just spun it. That was actually dope.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man, we got to get into the show, man. You're now listening to Talk F&F TV. I'm your host, Rhetoric, and I'm with my lovely and amazing and wonderful co-host, Miss Reality.
Hi, guys.
All right, we got to start here. We back into a topic that's I've been wanting to get into a little bit more. I've just been waiting for the catalyst. So we just had, a big game in the women's March Madness tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to them. Did you know that this is like the second or third year that the women have been allowed to use March Madness for their tournament moniker.
I did not know that. I've been learning a lot about women's basketball and the WNBA in general, so I'm not surprised.
So for years, they weren't allowed to use the actual moniker of March Madness. That's like the big brand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Y'all don't make no money. I can't use stuff.
That was essentially what was going on. I remember even a few years ago, they was complaining about like the quality of food that they were receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was way worse than the men. Like it was like stale bacon and all that kind of stuff that they were getting. It was tough. So just
not
to
pickle
see
juice.
So just to see where it's gone now, they actually said that it was like 12 million viewers of the game that was just happening with LSU and Iowa. So shout out.
That's great.
I mean, again, that does pale in comparison to the.
I was gonna say, like, how much is a regular, like a average viewership of a regular basketball game?
Well,
just a regular men's college basketball game.
It probably depends. It definitely getting into the millions would probably
I'm gonna
be.
See if I can do a Google while you talk.
I'm a guess and say it's probably like maybe 1 million, 2 million at the for NCAA March Madness. It's probably like the normal viewing, probably for men. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was just really dope with how big this is. I was gonna say it is still like, I think Larry Bird and Magic's game was like 30 million, but that was like in the 70s. So, you know, I guess you could say it was easier to attract people or not.
Yeah.
But it just goes to my point where I was saying that this is like their moment. And it was really big to like see this game get as much popularity. I didn't watch the game.
Neither of us did.
I didn't watch the game, but
I really wanted to go see a women's college basketball game this season, but I don't know when the seasons happen. So I was like, "Oh, babe, let's go see a game," and he was like, "It's the finals."
It's almost over. It's the last tournament.
And I was like, "Oh shit."
So that's where I'm at now. It's like I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like to watch girls basketball. I don't know if that's bad to say.
The average viewership for the first round of the men's NCAA tournament was 6.2 million.
Oh damn, I was off then. I was
8.3 million. So
I was really lowballing the men.
Yeah.
So I mean this
is good for them.
Yeah, for real. That's really
this
good
is
for them
really
to have
amazing for women's sports in general, I think.
For a game to do that big.
Mm-hmm.
For them to that. But I do forget that like the way that they show the games too is kind of different during the first round. Like they flip through games, they go through jump from different timeouts because so many teams playing. But I think it's interesting just to see, because even though like I said, I don't watch the game, you know, what we talk about, we like to get into, you know, how the media reacts, different little conversations in regards to that.
Do you want to guess what the average viewership is for the women's NCAA tournament? They don't have for first round, but they have for second round.
So I would say what, 800K?
1.6 million.
Okay, I low. So what I thought was for the men was for the women, and the men just jumped tenfold. So, but it's a lot of betting on this stuff and too. So I think that's a lot. What's really helping is the gambling too. The gambling portion on this is helping folks a lot and helping the game kind of get a little bit bigger sense. And then it's the fact, like, one statement I've been seeing before this is like, oh, the women's game is better than the men's game, and it's like, no, you have a storyline with these girls. You know who they are. They've been doing this more than one time. The guys are not doing that anymore. They're going to the NBA as quickly as they can to get their money, and that's good because that's just the progression of the game. It's no longer needed. College isn't needed the same way that the women's game is needed.
This is what I've been telling y'all in the sports. We need drama, storylines, competition, rivalries. I need enemies to friends arcs. Okay, like, give it to me, please.
I mean, we had a little bit of that because we had a girl from Louisville. She went to LSU this year, so she had transferred. So with the whole transfer portal, we having essentially super teams that were getting created. Caitlin Clark and her team were pretty much the same unit they were last year, but she was playing phenomenal. I mean, I looked at the highlights; she was playing phenomenal. But they end up getting a win.
I need a hard knock, but for like the college level. That would be very interesting. And then add the ladies into it. Like, add the ladies into it. I don't care about the WNBA. Follow the young college girls, and then hopefully we'll just want to watch them into their WNBA careers, and then the WNBA viewership will go up. Maybe.
So just to piggyback on that, the NBA used to have a series they would do that was called Rookies, where they would take like 3 or 4 rookies and they would follow them through the whole season, and then they would like document it during the summertime and stuff like that. So this stuff that you can do to sell these women more, because again, the season's so short.
You're gonna have to.
You have to kind of step out of that. But let's get into some of the commentary, because I think I'll just play stuff first.
Yeah.
I'll play some stuff first.
I didn't watch the game. I saw things happen after the game and stuff and comments that were made. So we'll get into that after.
Okay, so I'm going to play. This is Emmanuel Ocho. So y'all not familiar. He was FS1 Sports. He also did awkward conversations with a black man. I don't know if you saw that, where he was like talking to police and white people about like issues.
I think that's a good little title. Good premise.
Yeah, but he's the worst person to do it.
Okay, he's not.
He's got that vibe where he's trying to give empathy. Yeah, a little too much empathy for the white man in his dialogue. But
that was the only way they was gonna let him do that.
This is what he said, because I think, okay, let me set the scenario before I play this. So Angel Reese went to basically the post game interview. She had discussed they were upset that they lost, and she went into kind of like her whole little bag about what was going on, about the big thing that everybody's saying is she was like, I was sexualized, and just talking about a lot of the criticisms they received throughout the season. So this is what his kind of response was to that.
So her saying she was sexualized was in response to losing the game?
It was just her kind of like getting her shit off about the whole season.
Okay.
And just discussing like what's happened since last year and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't be the big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people, get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't under any circumstance go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero.
I find it really interesting that he said he was going to give a gender neutral, like race, not non-racial take. And then you put two stereotypes that black women historically have had to go through, being sexualized and also being the villain, being made as if we're like the angry black woman.
Did he reference them being sexualized?
No, he didn't. Okay. No, not being sexualized, being made to be the angry black woman, saying that she's the villain and she's the self-proclaimed villain, and she put this target on her back, and then also saying that like, oh, you acting grown. That's a regular thing that black girls have to hear their entire life. I feel like that wasn't. Regardless of what he did say, like that wasn't a take that was that took out her gender and her race. That both of those had a lot to do with your take on Angel.
I think the bigger picture of what he was kind of just saying was like, when you go into spaces like this, when you are an individual who are showing that, hey, you have promise. And you also, like I said, the villain thing, she did say that. Like, I looked it up on the article. She said, we're the good villains or whatever. That was like kind of like what she was trying to say. I think a better word she should have said was like, we're freedom fighters or something like that. Saying like, we're somebody who are fighting, even though people don't like us, we're fighting for a better cause and a bigger cause.
Yeah, but we know why people don't like them and all that. Like, I feel like as a black man and you discussing this and all that, like, I don't know. I feel like it is a little weird to take race out of it when it plays such a huge part in how she's like perceived and everything.
No, I think the race part is good for the marketing of the narrative. I think you're right in regards to perception to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be something that stands out. Like, you can't ignore that. But I think in general, when you're just going up there and being an athlete that's branded to everybody, like, you want everyone to buy your products, not just black, white, you want to be marketable to everybody. When you go and you stay on this, oh, I'm tough, I'm talking trash, I'm about that. When you go on the stand and you don't stand on business, people are going to call you out for that. Like, when Draymond Green doesn't stand on business after he do his stuff, people call him out for that. Like, it's part and parcel to the fact that, like, there is a light on this game now, like a bigger light than there's ever been. And that's one thing that I've been growing up, women were asking for the whole time. And I just feel like now, like, that you're getting the light, the popularity that comes with that is now something that's being negatively affected. Like, y'all are sitting here pushing back on it in a way that that's just become part of the game. That comes a part of when you have more light on it, these kind of criticisms come, and you can't sit here and say you want us to criticize y'all differently.
Yeah.
Because here's another Paul Pierce who was discussing Caitlin Clark and why he was impressed with her feat and what she did. He caught a lot of heat for this too. But this is stuff that I've heard about white players all the time. Like, literally, Larry Bird was thought about as great as he was because he did the same things that he's about to say here.
It's beyond that, Key. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls.
Well, of course.
That made it like, oh.
When the nigga say he about to keep it 100 with you, he about to say something that might get him fired.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
that's like, oh, she didn't do this to some other little white girls that was over here in Colorado, wherever. She did it to some girls from LSU who we thought were some dogs.
Defending champs.
And put them on their knee and spanked them. And so
don't love that.
I didn't expect that. It's not.
But that is the kind of conversation that happens when you have light on your sport.
Well, yeah, 100%.
And I just keep hearing so many people getting like upset and being like, oh, look, what this disgusting conversation and the putting people against each other. But it's competition.
Well,
it's
yeah,
a storyline.
They're definitely against each other.
There's a storyline you have to sell here. Like, at the end of the day, you have to get people to kind of be excited about the game, and how you do that is you talk about it in these grandiose ways, and you discuss it like this ain't nothing that they ever seen in this manner. Like, she's doing this against girls who it's a big deal. I'm sorry, when you have a white guy on the court and he's out here bopping guys up, you don't see that often. Even in the NBA, you can't tell me that there's only one white boy, and he's not even American, Luka, who's coming down and bopping up brothers every night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some big guys who are white that can play ball and hoop, but they're not dribbling the basketball and doing the aesthetically pleasing moves like she is and like he is when it comes to that. And it's impressive when you do it against the other color, because, again, there was a whole movie called White Man Can't Jump, and it was about him, people perceiving him as a bad basketball player because he was white.
You know what I don't like? I just don't like how hype white people get when they finally have that one white that's good.
Great
at the
white
thing.
hope.
Yeah.
That's always been a thing, especially in basketball.
Like, I don't like giving y'all that little sliver or something.
That little sliver.
Because y'all have all of this already.
Y'all made the game.
Like,
you made the game. You made the baskets. You made the balls.
The men at the top who own the teams who are making the most money are all white.
For the most part. There's some black, there's some minority and women owners and things like that.
Oh, we love that. We love to
here
see
and there, sprinkled here and there. But I just think that, like, I've seen like a lot of WNBA players getting upset at the attention that these girls are getting, in a way that they're like really upset. Like, somebody just blocked one of my posts now. I was gonna read what she had said, but I was like, yo, the whole race thing goes back to Larry and Magic. Like, that was the biggest part that sold that game.
That's why we're watching. That's why there was so many more eyes on it this time than the last couple games.
Those
historically, all of the games.
No, those narratives are important to selling
Yeah.
the game. Like, a lot of people are going to get behind Caitlin Clark because she's white girl.
We all messy bitches that live for drama.
Talk about it.
Whether you like to admit it or not. You're more intrigued by things when there's salaciousness going on around it. That's it. It's just human nature. That's why there's always traffic when there's a car crash.
Everybody got to take a look.
If nobody cared, then we would all just keep going and there would be no traffic. But everyone cares because we're all messy bitches who live for drama.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I hate that it seems like I'm trying to see if I can find a take that I wrote where they were having this discussion. But it's like it's clear that a lot of the women that are viewing the game and are viewing this are like they're following in the men's footsteps in the wrong way. Like y'all are looking at the media like how the men were getting in their feelings and responding, and even to the fact where they're taking even some of the light away from the girls. I said in my little tweet, I can't find it, but I said y'all need to be overhyping these girls, even if they don't deserve it, because that's only gonna put more light and eyes on the game. Yeah. Like this is what y'all like. The fact that Paul Pierce is talking about a women's basketball game when he was slapping women on the behind at ESPN at the stripper parties.
I don't love that.
So I mean, he was at the stripper party. Yeah, he was at the stripper parties.
I thought you was talking about like coworkers. I was
nah,
like, hold on now.
That's more like what Warren Sapp was doing. Warren Sapp was sending female colleagues dildos and stuff at the office. Now he's coaching at Colorado.
Oh my God.
But I'm trying to think. There was one more point I wanted to get into this in regards to the game. So this is what. So you remember the girl that we talked about, the Too Personal podcast?
No.
You don't remember nothing we do on this show. Her name is Taylor. Remember that's Taylor Rooks, and then there was Joy Taylor.
Oh yeah.
So this is Joy Taylor.
Well, I don't remember the name of their podcast, but you should have just been like Taylor Rooks podcast,
but
and then I would have remembered.
Yeah. But this is, but it's not Taylor. It's gonna be Joy Taylor. She had this in regards to because she's on the same show with Emmanuel Acho, and this is what she had to say about the game.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this: I really enjoy villains. Mm-hmm. I like villains. Mm-hmm. I like villains more than most. But why is she a villain? Because of what she does on the court?
She said she was.
Who made her the villain?
She said she was the villain.
Self-proclaimed.
Who made her the villain? Because someone made her the villain, and it wasn't her. She was being herself and bragging the same way that all athletes brag when they win, when they hit a big shot, when they do this. I've seen it a million times. But we don't talk about them the way that we talk about Angel Reese. So it's very easy to say that we're just going to eliminate the fact that she is a young girl and eliminate the fact that she is a black girl and eliminate the fact that she's an unapologetic black girl. We could take all that out. I love playing the we don't see color game. We don't see gender game. Let's do that. Do we talk about men who brag after winning or hitting a big shot the way that we talk about Angel Reese? I'll clear it up for you. We don't do segments about that because it's very common. We're used to seeing it. It's absorbed differently. Mm-hmm. There's an expectation of how Angel Reese is supposed to act. The reason we know that is because of the reaction that we got from her. And when she did that to Caitlin Clark last year, people didn't like it. Men do that all the time. Joe Burrow, we could pull up so many clips of men doing this, and this, and this, and
so
this,
what
and
about
this.
The more,
we ask for a lot of authenticity from players. Mm-hmm. We ask for the real. We ask for emotions. We ask for interviews. We ask for not the cans. Yeah, congrats to Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I'm going to make my decision next year. Appreciate you all coming out. We just didn't play our best today. You know, we could have been better. We didn't play our best today. We could have on to Cincinnati, right? We don't like that, right? We want the real. We want the interviews. We want the authenticity. We want the emotion. But then when we get that, don't do that. Don't do that. Be the person that we've put you up here to be. Be the person that someone else said you were because you gloated, because you did something that men do all the time. What I'm trying to say is she didn't make herself the villain. She showed up unapologetically herself in the same way that men do all the time.
But that's everybody. That's everybody,
every Tuesday night in January. No, they don't.
But
they don't get the same thing. They don't get the same thing, and that's why she's in this position.
But we don't.
That's what I was saying. She's calling herself the villain because she probably saw herself being called that, and then she was like, okay, let me take this on and let me flip it and let me make it a positive thing, which is what she was trying to do. I don't like that he took all that out because it matters. It applies.
I see that it does apply, and I agree. Like, because even LeBron did this. Like, I don't try to compare her to LeBron, but LeBron did a villain arc when he went to Miami the first time. He was the commercials were insinuating he was the bad guy. He talked about it the whole season that everybody hated him and his team. It was
but
just
that's
kind of
because people did hate him, right? That's when he left Cleveland.
Yeah, that's when he left.
Niggas was burning his jerseys.
Yeah, but I think when you take that motion and you do what she did last year and talking the trash that she did, I think there's going to come to people that's going to not like that, and they're going to speak and vocalize that, especially again with more eyes on the game.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing where they try to run away when you have this criticism. It's like, yeah, that's part of it though. Like that, her embracing it or not embracing it is her choice, and then what people respond to it is gonna be their choice. And to try to act like people are somewhat in the wrong for having that, I think it takes away from the spirit of growing the game.
Yeah, I think regardless of the fact that there are people who are saying bad things, there are more people saying things in general, which is always good. There's more buzz around the game. They're playing exceptionally well, which is why people are also talking about it. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next year because she has one more year of like college basketball, right?
She actually just said she's gonna go to the W.
Oh, okay, so she did have one more. Like she has
could have
her
played
senior
one more year. She
okay.
No, not her senior year. She had a COVID year, so she could have played another year.
Okay.
But I wanted to stay on one more thing about the sexualized part.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about that because I saw that all over the place, and I was very confused. Because when did she like? How did she say this?
So
what was the context around it?
So she was just, like I said, she was discussing it was her post game, and she was discussing like, you know, what she felt about and, you know, how the season went, and she was just, you know, discussing some of the criticism that, you know, fair, unfair, that was about her. And one of the statements that was getting most of the traction was that she said, "I've been sexualized." And people were saying and disputing that because if you go on, you know, she did the swimsuit cover.
She did Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, she had a, you know, the bathing suit cover or whatever with that. She's had, you know, pictures of her in salacious, you know, outfits. And
she's young and hot, so she's being young and hot.
Yeah, but I think that I feel like that's one of those talking points that people try to be like, oh, well, you're the one who sexualized her. It's like, yeah, but she put blood in the water. Like, does not act like she went in there dressed like a nun every game and niggas was like, oh yeah, I can see those curves under that big dress you got under there. Like, she threw some meat to the wolves and the wolves bit on it. I don't see the problem with that.
I always think it's interesting because you can sexualize anything for real.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is up to the person what you sexualize. Like, I don't think other than the Sports Illustrated, because there is like a sexual connotation to that. Like, you want to be sexy. You're doing this for like men's attention and stuff. It's always been that, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. But like, I saw people posting like her TikToks and stuff like that, like things where she just like is showing her outfit. She turns for a second and she happens to have a wagon on her, like crazy, like absolutely insane. Okay. Like, she just so happens to have the craziest ass. So, like, it's because of what her body looks like. Regardless of what she's doing, y'all are going to sexualize her. So I think that's what her problem is. She's like, bro, I'm not even like, for the most part, because I follow Angel on TikTok. After last year and everything that happened, I've been following her for like a year now. So most of her content is her like flexing. She like, look at what I got, bitch. I got money now. Like, most of it is not like body. Like, she's not a girly girl.
I mean,
at
she
all.
has moments. You follow on TikTok?
Yeah, she does have her moments. She wears her little bodysuits and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, she flexing on niggas. Like, that's what her general aesthetic is.
Did you see the video clip she had where she did the waxing and then like she pulled it off?
That was the waxer that posted that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
that
like,
was absolutely.
She had to give the green light.
Bitch, that was absolutely insane on your part. Because what?
That was wild.
Like, we saw the whole shape of her pussy.
Yeah, it was literally like you could have bought a fleshlight with that. Like, you could have just molded that to a fleshlight.
That's crazy. Yeah, I would have had to box that waxer if she posted that without my consent.
No, she clearly had consent for it. She was sitting right there smiling and laughing with her.
Yeah, but like, well, yeah, she was recording. She knew she was gonna post it.
Most people, when in those situations, especially like high profile people, like, oh, make sure you don't post this. They'll say that in the video so that they have some plausible deniability. She thought it was funny. Again, that's the only thing I'm just saying, where it's like, I just don't like when folks don't understand, like, there is a degree of sexualization that happens with everything that we do. I think the better term she should have said was, instead of I was sexualized, she should have said I was over sexualized. Because then if you say that, that gives that, oh, I had some doing in it, but y'all niggas took it over the top.
Yeah, which is what happened.
Happens all the time.
I don't think she had some doing in it. Let me take that back. Y'all niggas took it over the top. All she was doing was just like living her life.
I mean, but
with a fat ass and happened to have a fat ass. Like, if she didn't, then she wouldn't have been sexualized in this manner.
I mean, we all can live our life, but I mean, we can't act like it's only happening one way because they're even sexualizing Caitlin Clark.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't.
No, I'm telling you, I'm seeing guys that's posting pictures of her and like, hey, give me a second. Like, let me explain. Like, there's literally threads of guys trying to explain, like, oh, she might be all right. I don't think so. But it's a lot of guys.
Yeah,
like,
I have no idea what this lady looks like.
It goes to your point where you can sexualize anything. Like, if,
you can.
If they're sexualizing Caitlin Clark, they're going to sexualize any and everyone that goes on the court.
If you're a woman, you're gonna be sexual. If you're a woman in the public eye, you're just gonna be sexualized. There's always gonna be one loser. It's like, oh, like.
Well, I'm glad that you
losers.
I'm glad you made that point, and I'm glad you made it the way you did because it kind of goes in. I was gonna say this a little bit later, but we can do it now because it just flows so perfect with it. So we can talk about Joe Budden. You know, we talk about him often on the show. So he's recently had an incident with the girls from or the women from Good Moms Bad Choices podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give a little breakdown of what happened, and then I'm gonna discuss why I was saying what.
Yeah, and do you have a clip?
There's no clip of this. I mean, we can find her talking about it.
Okay, so the episode, there's no clip of like what Joe said.
No, this is the story that she said. I'll
Go
just
ahead.
break her story down. So it's Erica from the Good Moms Bad Choices podcast. She was basically saying when they were at the show, Joe does photos. So they do a little photo shoot before the episode goes and out. Out there while they were getting ready to set up for it, Joe, I guess he either walks by or something happens, and he mentions to her basically in a loud voice, "Oh, yo, you can get fucked." And she said it made her completely uncomfortable. She even went to the bathroom, had to regain her composure. She realized that they were there for a business reason overall, so she didn't really want to mess that up. So she ends up doing the whole episode, and weeks later comes out and says what happened. What's kind of being
Bro, Joe, what is good with you? Like, you've had so many instances where you've made women uncomfortable on so many different occasions that at this point you would think that you would just shut the fuck up around women. Just shut up.
I think it's kind of clear that with Joe, he does have a very clear it's very clear he has a difficult time dealing with the sex worker from regular women or more modestly thinking women, because these women talk sexual on their show. So I can see where you would blend that line of talking to the baddies, the sex workers, a certain way, thinking that it could fly over here with them.
But you know that these are
they're podcasters at the end of the day.
like they're there for business. So why are you, there's no lines that are blurred. You just don't have any. He has way too much audacity.
Yeah, I mean, his coof is outrageous. Like, just to say that in any kind of capacity, like, it's nuts. And I think it's a learning lesson, and I think that's the main reason why I wanted to bring, because it is a learning lesson on how you want to discuss and have relations. Because I think what we don't understand is men and women haven't been working together for a really long time. Like, if we really break it down, women got the right to vote 100 years ago. Y'all really got into the workforce in a real way, working side by side with men, probably maybe 60, 70 years?
Bro, regardless of all that shit.
But like, no, it's let me make the point of what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
The fact is there has not been a lot of the blueprint on how to do this in a real proper way, because if we keep it honest, most people get married from work, especially in America. They meet the people that they end up marrying and living their life with at work. Example, my parents met at work. So if there was an issue in regards to what could have happened or what would have been shunned upon, my dad could have lost his job for their interactions and things like that. So for a long time, school for women was what? College, higher learning wasn't a place for them to better themselves. It was a place to find a husband. So like we keep acting like, oh, these rules have been set in stone for centuries when they really haven't. We still in the first century of trying to figure them out.
Regardless of all of that, I feel like, as a grown man that has grown up in this era, you know how to fucking behave in a workplace professionally. You don't tell somebody they can get fucked, period. There are mad HR videos that you can log on to YouTube and watch, my nigga. You can't say that in your workplace. It doesn't matter. Like, that you haven't been around that men and women haven't been working together for that long, that Joe's only around sex workers and this and that. Like, my nigga, you literally, like, you shouldn't be around women. You should be quarantined from women. Women should only be paid to interact with you. Period. If they choose to do so. Because at this point, it's fucking ridiculous. You're a fucking wild animal. You can't control yourself. She's walking past you. You can get fucked. Like, what the fuck? Are you not like 50-some years old, my nigga? How many times have you busted nuts to full completion and satisfaction? At this point, control your goddamn self. What is that?
I would think that he would just like after the Olivia Dope situation and seeing how that whole situation played out and him end up having to pay her out money. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't, learn from that occasion.
Bro, his brain does not work properly, obviously. Like, all you can do is you yell into a mic fantastically, regardless of if you're rapping or talking. But past that, keep him the fuck away from women.
So I wanna touch on that point that you were saying, because I was in some spaces where we were having this conversation, and Joe ended up actually coming in a little bit later on, and he was kind of talking about some stuff that we were talking about, but I won't get into too much of that. But there were some women that were in there, and they were both very supportive of Joe. They were very big Joe fans. And it was interesting during our conversation.
They
because
are able to get on stage in spaces while Joe's in there.
Well, no, this is before. No, this is before Joe came.
Slob on his knob.
No, this is before Joe got on stage. This is before we was all chilling and talking. But no, they were talking about it, and they were on Joe's side, and they were talking about the women because some things kind of leaked out about it. One, they were saying that they were upset about when the video actual came out, when the Patreon actually came out, because they were trying to promote something while they were in New York. And it didn't come out after. It came out after their performance or whatever. So it basically wasn't able to be used as a promo tool for them. Mm-hmm. So they were upset about that. And then they basically were just saying that there was just some kind of conflicts that were going on. Not too specific, but there were conflicts going on. And they were trying to use this to essentially get their podcast bigger, get them into the algorithm and things like that. So that's what they were saying.
Nigga, I was uncomfortable as fuck at
hold on.
The place.
Because you're about to get into what I'm talking about. So the girls were on that point. Were like, oh, nah, these hoes trying to get on.
I hate those type of bitches.
But it was crazy because once the conversation turned, then the man started talking. He started saying some things where, yeah, that shit's so lame. You acting like, oh, we talking one way and then you just get comfortable out of nowhere. That's crazy. This makes the women react. The women then say, nah, you can't say that. If I'm in here and I'm having a problem and you say something I'm not okay with, I can say I'm not okay, and it can change the whole energy.
Yes, and as soon as I say I'm uncomfortable,
it was so interesting to see once the man started to voice similar thoughts and opinions that you were espousing, you started to see the real threat that slippery slope of your conversation was gonna have.
You're letting them. You're giving them the space to be like this.
Because I'm over here when the whole time I'm just asking her questions. Like, I'm like, so what's the timeline? What should it look like for her to not feel, for you to not feel like that, or for you to not disinvalid, what she's going through? And just to see once somebody started actually taking a stance and opinion that could show that, hey, I'm easily threatened and can easily be hurt in that situation, it changed so immediately. But then they even went back to it. They went back to still defending it. Their whole point was, oh, they're doing it for clout, and that's kind of what they were able to sit on.
The point of them going on Joe Budden's podcast in the first place was to promote their show and to cast their personalities to a wider fan base. Second, the reason that they stayed was that first reason. She was uncomfortable, but she was like, let me swallow this, right? And let me continue doing this show, because that's the decision that she made, right? She was like, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to do this because I want to further my show, and hopefully this uncomfortable moment will benefit in the long run. It did not. So now, not only was I uncomfortable sitting there the whole time and I had to suck it up, this shit didn't pan out the way I wanted to. I'm burning everything down.
I mean, that's where it kind of, like I said, it feels like, but you can see where people would feel that's a disingenuous way to approach it. Because
no, it's not. Because they're not friends with Joe Budden. They don't owe Joe Budden anything.
Well, technically, he's been on their show before, and there was a clip. Hold on. There was they're not coworkers. They're
colleagues.
Peers.
Yeah,
colleagues or peers. You can probably more in line. But he's been on their show before. But on their show, she was being freaky in a conversation with him a little bit, talking about having a 3-way kiss with her and her co-host. And also, her co-host said she didn't hear what happened.
Well, you said it was not on camera or anything.
But, I mean, just to say you didn't hear it at all kind of hurts. And the fact that she said it while the other girl was talking about it. She said, like, well, I just want to say I didn't hear anything. I was doing something else, and I never heard or saw this exchange. And a lot of people were saying that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, because while I'm telling my story, I don't need you to be like, I wasn't there, so I can't verify.
Yeah, that's basically what she said.
Just in case this is a lie. Like, that's weird. I don't like that.
You don't feel like that was girl energy?
No, definitely not.
I think, like I said, this is just important for just to have the conversation, because as a man, you just got to be careful when you have any kind of conversations, because a lot of women are looking for you to say the wrong thing.
And then I was gonna say, I listened to Good Moms Bad Decisions for a little while, for maybe like 2 months. Every single episode is like that. It's a freaky ass, like, they talk about smoking weed and having sex and putting things in their booty holes. Like, that's just the nature of the podcast. So regardless of who is gonna be on it, they're gonna ask those type of freaky questions. That doesn't give you a green light to just consistently be on a sexual baseline with them. Like, no, it's when the cameras are on. Yes, that's what we're talking about on Good Moms Bad Decisions. But you can get fucked while I'm like trying to go to the bathroom real quick, and I'm just like minding my business. Is very jarring.
No, I can feel you. I had another point I was gonna make. Damn, I should have slipped my head. But I just think my whole rule, I don't even, when I'm around working at my job, I don't even really try to talk to many women as possible.
Period.
Like I said, they try to, I remember one time I asked a lady to pass me something, and she thought I said something completely crazier than that. And it's just like, for some reason, some women are looking for that, though. Like, I'm going to be real with you. Some women are looking to come up off you and get either an HR check or get more consideration or empathy at work. And they will use you as a man as bait for that. Yeah. They will bait you into conversations that can then turn around, and now you looking like the freak boy. Like, my best opinion is treat women like children. All right? Don't talk to them about, if they're not your woman, don't talk to them about sex. You just keep them at arm's length. And that's just the best way to do it, because it was funny in that conversation, that same gentleman who was saying the stuff that triggered the women, he said, the way that you talking is childish. And I said, sir, I know where you're going to. I know where you want to land at. But it ain't going to end where you want to. You ain't going to be outnumbered. So just don't even say it. But that's the main thing. Like, even when it comes to the Angel Reese thing in the conversation, where it's like, if you aren't operating with women as a mind frame of infantizing them, it's going to be, they're going to manipulate it whenever they want. And they're going to say that you're a problem anytime, even if you do the exact same thing to a man. Because then we're not the same. We're not. We should respect each other in a similar boundary, but we aren't the same.
No.
And that's where it's like it comes to, but at the same token, if we're not the same, you can't expect the same results. And that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. Because if it's okay for Joe, if you're saying it's okay for, it's Joe's job to not say and speak like that, then it's also, you could also say it's okay for a man to say, oh, well, you don't need to be wearing things that are going to provoke other men to do that.
No, just
control
your fucking self.
No, it's not the same.
It's not being provoked.
You don't get to operate in that if you keep saying if we're not the same. Because just like a child can do something that you're gonna say, hey, I'm not gonna let you go buy this dog and this rabid dog that's gonna hurt you. So you won't have to listen to me when I explain that to you.
Men aren't rabid dogs that can't.
I'm not saying that.
That don't have cognitive functions.
That was just an example. You're gonna
That's
tell
a bad
somebody
example.
Not to put, okay, I'm sorry. Some men are rabid dogs.
Like, y'all have cognitive functions. Y'all are making the decision to be a piece of shit instead of doing what you know is right.
And there are some
dogs don't know what's right.
No, you can train. You could train a dog and they can know what to
do.
Yeah, just like there's some men who aren't being trained. And you can't say that it's training when we say that everybody's equal. Because if everybody equal, the interaction that I have with a man, I understand it can end in violence and I could die. But when a man has that interaction with a woman, that threat is only one-sided. The woman is the only one who feels that.
I wish it was double-sided.
Women are the only one who's going to feel that.
I wish so bad it was double-sided. I wish men were like, if I talk to this woman, I might die.
Most men aren't
I
going to feel
really,
like that.
ooh, life would be so much better if men thought that they could die
No, then
as a result of talking to us crazy, putting their hands on us, anything of that nature. I wish that was a thing.
You say that, but you really don't. You really don't.
Outside and nighttime would be so much more fun if it wasn't for men. And then I feel like if everyone had an equal fear amongst each other, everything would balance out.
No, we more treat each other like men, and then we'd be way distant and way more unapproachable because part of that vulnerability that men have with the women is also
we need population control anyways. If people are like less babies, more resources. Still, my argument stands.
That's not how that works either, because you still need people to mine
and
the
then
resources.
but everyone's murdering on both sides.
Can't get anything serious with this woman. As I said, children. Example. Children.
We're literally like, this is for entertainment.
They're just big kids. They're just like big kids, you know. So, like I said, you just gotta wait till they're older for you to be able to do things. But
generally, I wish men had that healthy fear in their hearts, but they don't, which is why they have so much audacity.
Y'all wouldn't want that because it comes with other things. Like the healthy fear also means you have to defend it. Like it's going to be sometimes where somebody's going to try your fear, and you would not want that because then you have to stand up for yourself in that manner.
What do you mean try your fear? When
like,
would somebody try a man's fear?
There's a lot of just when you have a response like that, it is fight or flight.
Okay,
it's not always run.
Give me an example of like when a man's fear would be tried.
So when a man's trying to intimidate you and you try
No. In this situation, right? In my hypothetical situation, if a man had an equal fear of being killed
by a woman,
yeah, like when would his fear be tested? And that would end in something bad.
So a woman cuts you off, and instead of the normal routine where it's like you see a woman, you just drive off, you might see, because I have the same fear, I may not also respond that same way of being scared. So I'll have a fight or flight response, and because like a man, if a fight or flight response happen with a man, and I'm not afraid to fight you, I'm going to go after you. Like so,
population control.
So I'm be like, hey, I'm gonna cut you off. Hey, bitch, what you doing in there? Get out your fucking car. Come out here and talk to me. Like when you see them crazy ass instances where them niggas really done blacked out on a chick in traffic, like that would be more common occurrence, because now you also have to put the factor is that you're still smaller than me. So now instead of looking at you like a woman, I'm just looking at you like a smaller man. So now I'm really on your ass. That's what I'm saying.
That sounds entertaining.
That sounds scary. Like that sounds nuts. I would be
disagree.
But no, I just think that that's just an important conversation to have in regards to that. Before we move forward to this one, just say R.I.P. to Bandman Kevo's kid. They said he was shot, 15-year-old too.
That's crazy.
What I wanted to ask is, so Bandman Kevo is known as like one of those Instagram influencers with the money and all that other stuff, and there was a lot of accusations saying that his kid was living in the hood. When I hear that, I don't assume these men and people that have the amount of money that y'all think that they have.
Yeah, he was probably flexing and putting on.
He probably had a lot of money that wasn't his.
Also that, and then these niggas don't be liking their kids, so there's also that. Have you thought of that? These niggas don't be liking their kids.
I didn't think that
they
part.
don't be liking their baby moms, and they don't be liking their kids. So he was like, you know what? Fuck that little nigga. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
I mean, he said he was looking for the shooters afterwards.
He has to, because your son died, and you're going to look crazy if you don't say that you're doing that.
You think he's going to have to do that? I just felt I could just see a world where it's not that he has any issue with the kid or even the mama. He's living a life that requires him to be on the go so often, and to even try to probably fund the lifestyle that he's acting like he's living. He probably got to be on the grind so much with the music. He do music, right?
I have no idea who this man is.
I feel like he does music too. But just to be
I'll
on
Google it.
The kind of grind that he's on, I just can understand where you're being away, and you would just in hope that the other parent, the custodial parent, is not putting that child in a position where he has to make those kind of choices or decisions. Because he could be paying his child support and trying to make sure everything's straight, but nigga 15, he don't got to pick up the phone. Like, that's at that point.
Yeah,
that
he's a rapper from Southside Chicago.
So I mean, again, I think that they were saying he was staying in like Kalamazoo, Michigan is where his son was at. So I'm not sure if that's like the real projects or whatever, you know, the real hood in Michigan. But I could just see in a world where it's like that was kind of rough. Like it's tough. Like I ain't gonna give him like the Gilly effect because it's not like he over here telling niggas to stay out the street or anything. But I could just see where it's like he could not have any type of control in that house, and all he is just a provider of a check. And I just feel like that was messed up for folks to just kind of throw that at him, you know, off the initial.
Yeah, we don't know what that household was like or anything of that nature. So
yeah, so let's get into. All right, so we watched the reality show, Jerrod Carmichael. Man, I'm gonna say just my first feeling after watching episode 1 was this felt like the humiliation ritual for what he did to the Golden Globes.
I don't remember the Golden Globes.
So he was the host of the Golden
it.
Globes, and he pretty much just like shit the bed his whole performance. He was just like talking trash. He wasn't really being funny. He didn't really have like anything written down for his performance. Basically, like he had nothing prepared, and he was just kind of just being snarky the whole time. And as I said, this is why this feels like they was just doing his way of kind of just to shit on him a little bit. Mm-hmm. When you start, you can get into it.
So Jerrod Carmichael has a new reality show on HBO Max. Well, Max now, and the first episode is out as of now. The last special that he won the Oscar, or whichever one,
I think it was Emmy.
The last special that he won the Emmy for, he let us know that he confessed his love to his best friend, la-di-da. We assumed it was Tyler. First episode, he's sitting down with Tyler with the whole like production team, cameras, lights, things of that nature. If y'all know Tyler, the creator, I have been an Odd Future fan since probably like I was an Odd Future fan since like 2009, 2010, right? I was like watching that man's YouTube videos, all of his little like vlogs and stuff. So I feel like I, from the outside, know his personality very well. That man is unserious as hell. Like highly unserious. So he tells Tyler, he's like, I think I'm developing feelings for you. Tyler goes, ha ha ha, you dumb bitch. What? What do you mean? So Tyler basically, like what you said, gave him an out by saying, ha ha ha, you dumb bitch. Like, this is a joke. You're joking, right? And then a year later, Jerrod makes this whole thing and doubles down. And he's like, so are we doing this? Like, I confess my love for you. It's been awkward since then. And it was just so like awkward to watch because Tyler does not want Jerrod at all. He orders food and then he's like, he finishes all of his food. He's like licking his fingers, which is like, all of the body language was so unserious from Tyler's part, on Tyler's part. And then,
call me a stupid bitch. I did.
That Tyler laugh, like.
Yeah, I did. I did.
He's like, yeah, and I stand on that, and I do it again.
Brushed it off. I know. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this a little bit. What was going on before that led up to this? This nigga Jerrod Carmichael has an infatuation for the small white boys. He was cleaning house.
Oh, that was after.
That was before that. That was the end of the episode.
What do you mean? He interviewed Tyler in the beginning. He had the whole
No, I don't know. That's not how that happened.
Oh my God.
The end
it was
of
the middle that he was sucking on the white boy's toes.
Yeah, that was literally the end of the show was him talking to Tyler in that scene that we just discussed. So I just thought it was nuts how crazy he was going for the white boys. He had the grinder going nuts. He had probably like 3 of them. They just showed. They came already ready to jump on it. And so it kind of confused me because it seemed like he was giving top energy. Even when he was sucking the toes, there was still some top energy. So my question was, which one was the top between him and Tyler? Who did you gather was the top between those two? Who would be the top? How would they do it? Would they have to like rock, paper, scissors for it?
They both give me verse energy, honestly. I feel like they would probably just
think
take
they'd
turns.
switch?
Yeah.
That's wild. The switching. You ever seen Shameless? You ever watched that show?
A little bit. Depends on what season you're talking about.
So in the later seasons, the brother, the gay one, he ends up like dating like a transgender man, and they're both like are supposed to be tops. So they end up like switching the whole season. That's like their whole little conversation. I can't believe you never watched that show. That they seen that.
It was incredibly Caucasian.
So I mean, it got his shit off. They
watched
had that
for
black
like
girl
the
on
first
there.
3 seasons. After that, it was very repetitive, and then I was really like, I couldn't watch Frank's shit anymore. He was annoying as fuck. But
Frank was the best TV.
I
dad.
feel like, I knew you would think that. That falls in line with your personality very much.
That nigga held it down.
So that shit was so uncomfortable to watch. Like,
have you ever been the friend in that situation that either wanted to make things more or somebody wanted to make things more with you?
yeah, in high school, I had a crush on like my best friend, and he was like, nah.
Kicked your back in.
No, not kicked my back in, but he definitely like let me down very easy.
He told you wasn't his type.
No, he literally had never, and I don't think till now has dated a black woman.
He just let you down easy. Then he's like, hey, it's not you, baby. It's where you were born. That's what he basically had to say to you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had someone come to me, like most of the girls that I've been friends with, like they didn't really want the relationship. It was more like the physical. Like it never was like, oh, we should be boyfriend, girlfriend now. Usually always was, we was already doing physical stuff. And then she's like, well, you might as well be my boy now. Like you already up in it. Like that's how I knew most girls are with it. Like that's how y'all be. Y'all be like, oh, y'all already up in it. So you might as well cuff it. That's what we called it back in the day. You might as well cuff it. So, but I did have an instance where like I tried to be the friend and like I just, it never got, it got to places, but it didn't go crazy. Like we didn't become a couple, but there was a physical attraction there. Like I said, just usually ends that like that for me, man. Most folks just wanted the guy that looked like J. Cole, and they didn't want to keep him. No, man. Happens.
I feel like everyone was talking about Tyler and Jerrod in this, but the thing that stuck out to me the most was him laying on that couch and how content he looked with that white twink's fucking toes in his mouth. Sir, like, I don't know. I just feel like for African American advancement, there was no reason for you to put that on camera. Like, why did you put that on camera?
I think
like why did you feel it necessary to show us the compilation of white men that she was fucking? Like, I just feel like that was weird. After showing us that you were rejected by this black man that you love so much, was it like I don't know what it was.
Well, I mean, again, we won't argue about that. The how the clips came out.
Yeah, because you're wrong. Because he started with Tyler coming into the thing and sitting down. But go ahead.
But they didn't talk about anything until he just said he went into they did the stand up stuff. But the thing I was going to say,
it was all in between. You weren't paying attention though.
I was
you
paying
were back
attention.
and forth.
I was watching the whole thing.
Okay, you're wrong. We'll play it back. We'll add a clip in to verify that I was correct.
No, because you're not going to want to, because you'll be wrong. You'll be like, don't put that in there. I don't want that in there. That's going to make me look crazy. So let's get into an actual conversation about this. What I think that
Have we not been having an actual conversation about this the whole time?
We've been brushing over the main topic that's really the head here, because you even kind of brushed over what you said. Do you think, and I think it's kind of clear because I do, that black men, regardless of their sexual orientation, wholeheartedly value the acceptance, even if it's being with a white person, like a black guy, the look of dominating a white body is attractive to black men with power who have assumed a little bit of power in this world. That is what this stems from. Like, that's why I'm pretty sure he was the dominant person with everybody he's with. I'm sure that's the same way Tyler didn't pick him. It has nothing to do with the fact that I like you or don't like you. It's the fact that I don't value the body that you're in.
They've both come out and said that they like twinks. Twinks historically are little gay, white, specifically men. And they're tiny. They're always bottoms. Like, twinks can't be tops. Like, period, point blank. You're not a twink if you're a top. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so
speak to the white body part and dominating the white body.
So yeah, I feel like if you are a black man who has been, especially that looks like them, right? Like, they're not conventionally attractive men. They were probably made fun of, rejected over and over and over again by other black men, probably just black women, because they both just came out. So consistently rejected by black women and then made fun of by all of the whites because y'all are dark-skinned, lanky, African-looking niggas. And then now y'all have money, and then what was exotic and out of reach to you now is within reach, and you can make it do what you want, basically. So that's probably enticing in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if that's what's going on with Tyler and Jerrod, but both of y'all Tyler has made it glaringly obvious in his music, in his interviews. He said he looking for white boys to fuck. He said he was trying to fuck Justin Bieber for 2 years and apologized to Selena Gomez. Jerrod had this Grindr compilation of little white twinks coming into his hotel room. Like, obviously, these men feel like the proximity to whiteness is more successful, and then dominating that, bending it over and fucking it probably is a whole different feeling that is something that I will never experience in my life.
I think it's so tough for people to kind of accept Tyler as being any kind of like gay or bisexual.
Everyone keeps thinking that he's joking still.
To me, I think the nigga's asexual. That's how the nigga comes up to me. Like, I think everything up into the action of sex is where that's where the line is drawn at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he everything is so funny and amusing up until doing it, and I think that's where it just all stems from. So that's why I think he couldn't even really know how to respond, because the proximity to sex was so close, in that they could have just left that room and got busy if they wanted to. Gay niggas really don't need too much.
In gay culture, the hookup culture is crazy.
They don't need too much of a turnaround time, for the knockdown. So
the bottoms do.
I was gonna ask you about that, because you would think that if somebody's coming into an exit like that, you would kind of be a little more mindful, no?
Bottoms are generally just always mindful.
But they don't get that stereotype.
What do you mean?
They get the stereotype like they ready to bust the bussy for anybody.
No, I mean they're always mindful to keep their shit clean so that they can bust it open for anybody.
Oh, so I thought you were making it seem like they had this discretion with their busting.
No, gay men are whores. Mm-hmm.
I think that was the biggest takeaway from episode 1.
No, the biggest takeaway from episode 1 was that Jerrod Carmichael has a humiliation kink.
You think that's what it is?
Like, obviously, because why did you get those cameras? And then, like, it was just so many. It was more than one stand-up special, too. So, like, between him talking to Tyler, he's plugging in, like, him at his stand-up specials, talking about, like, what we're about to see next. So he has talked about this in smaller groups over and over again. He said that multiple times that he sent the text to Tyler, locked his phone or put it on airplane mode, and then went on stage, or like did that and then came to record this. Like, my nigga, you like that feeling of like anticipation and anxiety and all that needs to be unpacked.
He only did it once.
No, he did it twice. He did it once when he was going up on stage, and then he did it another time right before he went to his therapist. And his therapist was like, "Oh, we love this." But it was 2 times, because there was another when he asked Tyler to go to the Emmys with him, he asked him, put his phone on airplane mode, got up on stage, and then read the reply. No, he didn't.
Wasn't a reply.
There wasn't a reply until later, but he picked up his phone and looked at it while he was on stage, and the people in the audience were like giving him advice and stuff.
When he asked him about the Emmys, that was the part where he just was like, "I got to shoot and I can't make it, but congratulations," type thing.
He asked him about the Emmys, and then right after that is when we had the whole compilation of Grindr Boys, because he was sitting with the white boy and he was like, "I need a backup date to the Emmys just in case." The person that I actually love No, he was sitting next to him.
No, he asked. You're confused. I'm saying he asked. Okay, let's just get off.
No, he texted Tyler and asked him.
Everything he said with Tyler was over the phone.
Yeah, everything over with Tyler. And then right after he sent the text, he did the stand-up special thing. And then after that was the grinder thing because he was sitting next to the guy. And then he was like, just in case the man that I love can't come.
This is important.
It's not important because you're wrong about the timeline.
No, you are. All right.
This nigga gonna look stupid as fuck.
No, I'm not. You're just not going to look like anything because I'm going to protect you. That's just what I do. We forgot to acknowledge too during that Tyler conversation. That nigga said I'm big straight.
You cut me off.
What do you mean?
You cut me off before I got to that. I was talking about they were eating, and then he licks his fingers after he's done eating, and he asks him, "Is he gonna finish that food?" And he's like, "I don't want that. I don't want none of that. That I'm big straight on that. Big straight. Don't want none of that."
I feel like that was just cut like that to make it seem like he was trying to shit on him, because that was like,
well, but it was
to say
cut.
Big straight is nuts. Yo, I'm big straight,
bro. I feel like Tyler did that on purpose because I never thought that Tyler was indirect until this, and I was like, oh, Tyler is very avoidant. He has a very avoidant communication style. He does not want to. He doesn't want to address this. He was like, "I'm just gonna fade out of your life forever," which I feel you, my nigga, as someone who also has a avoidant communication style, attachment style.
Okay, since we're on the gay topic, Adam 22 dropped a crazy ass post, yo. I'm about to read this joint, yo. All right, I'm proud to announce my first gay scene. For many years, I've dreamed of what it would be to shoot with one of the bros. I've decided to stop holding back and live my truth. I know some of you don't like this decision, but I hope you will choose to respect my choice. Big thanks to my scene partner, Michael, for letting me tear that ass up.
Was this like an April Fool's thing?
Can't wait for y'all to see this content. I don't know, he went full ballsy with it. They dressed up and did a photo shoot.
Did he post it on April 1st?
Yeah, this happened on April 1st.
It's a joke then. It's obviously an April Fool's prank.
Well, it's to say that it's obvious isn't giving fair criticism or fair analysis to what was all going on. So
to be fair, also, I can't analyze what was going on with Adam 22 because I don't know what the fuck is going on with Adam 22.
So what I'll say is
just a regular human.
But no, there were some things that went on, was going viral with him. So the first thing that happened was that Michael guy, he was seen walking around his neighborhood with his dog. So that sparked the thing where it's like, hey, Adam 22 is being seen with a gay porn star. What is that going to lead to? We already know he let people fuck his wife. Is he going to fuck a dude? Then he's seen on the No Jumper show, the news show, and he's
No Jumper has a news show?
Yeah, they do like a little weekly news show that they have.
Okay.
And he walks in and he like bends over a little bit and you can see he has like a thong on underneath his pants. So then there's more, evidence
I feel
being
like
led up to this. And then, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that you could definitely feel that way. I'm saying to say that clear cut that is staged when other stuff been leading up to it is why people felt it was so believable.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Adam just went COE though. He went full COE.
What does that mean?
Content over everything.
Okay.
He's just fully engaged into this is what people want to see. This is what's going to get engagement. Even if I don't do it, the mere discussion of me saying it on April Fool's is going to get people to talk.
Did he
Joe even was saying stuff about this beforehand, so like people were going at him.
Did he put a release date in the caption or anything, or did he just say that it was coming?
Yeah, he didn't put no release date.
I don't think that's actually happening.
No, it's not. He put a blog afterwards talking about how he convinced the world that he was gay. Like he's just talking shit. I just thought it was funny just the way that he just put so much effort into this, into making people really think that he was, had this going on. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna put that gay nigga with another dude on Plug Talk. Like,
probably
every Plug Talk isn't him and Lena. Like, it's other people on there too. So I'm pretty sure that's what he was just talking to business about them, because a lot of people don't know the gay porn business is the most lucrative.
It's highly lucrative.
It's the most lucrative.
If you wanted to start jerking it real quick on the OnlyFans, I would let you.
If any dude who gets into porn doesn't think that 85% of your audience is men, gay men buying your stuff, you're a fool.
Start showing that booty hole.
They don't want the booty hole. The niggas that's paying for it want to see you stroke it. They trying to see nut videos.
So are the women, honestly.
I'm just saying, like, what? But y'all got that from the gays.
What do you mean?
Wanting nut videos. There was no woman wanting nut videos until the gay niggas said that that's what they was exchanging. And the woman never asked me that until I seen gay niggas talking about it on the timeline. Exchanging the nut photos and the nut videos. Just being honest. You probably was the freako. But you be with the gays though, so you was hip.
You know what? My best friend's birthday, a gay man, was yesterday, and I was going through all my videos, and then there's this one video, and I'm out with him, another gay man, and another gay man, and I'm like, I need some female friends because why am I always out with a bunch of gay niggas?
That's why you was into the sending the nut videos. Like, you was already with...
Bro, my best friend
was in the culture.
He would just be like, look at this dick. Look at how thick and beautiful this dick is. There's nothing on the phone.
I don't even want to pretend like I'm looking at it, so...
There was nothing on the phone.
That's how straight I am.
Completely
Don't
black.
fucking laugh like that when I say I'm straight.
I just think it's funny.
I've had enough. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Really? 3 pieces. 3 from 3 people I have never met in my life. From 3 publications that are supposed to be about uplifting black people, which is all I have dedicated my life to doing. Shit! What hubris do I have? You people literally cannot stand that someone has studied and is speaking on what they studied, that someone has read and is speaking on what they read. You can't stand that someone loves us, that someone loves us so much that their passion is so exemplary and is exuding through the phone that it touches people who literally have never felt love that much and they don't know how to process it. That's what you're feeling. I want to send all the love to everyone who has shown me love. But you people who are continuing to attempt to break me down, you will not break me. You cannot break me. I am loved. I am anointed. I am touched. I am working through the blood of our ancestors. You will not break me. And it is so sad that you are so broken that this is the effort that you would take to try and get some clout. And you know what? Let's say I did get broken. Y'all will be the first ones to be like, see, y'all be doing too much. No. Big up to all my strong black women who are supporting other strong black women and the other person supporting us. We love you. The rest of y'all can suck up.
Period.
So I was watching this. I was Amanda Seals, if y'all couldn't recognize by the voice. She was getting mad because the griot, I think it was called.
There are multiple articles that came out that said that, oh, she's too difficult and blah, 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 and her content. She put out a video saying that, like, she's never invited to things. You know, like, she was nominated. I don't know which award she was nominated for, but she was nominated for an award and then didn't get invited to the show.
I think it was the NAACP.
Yeah, something like that. So she complained about that. There were a couple articles that came out, and then this was her reply to all of the articles that came out. And I don't disagree with her.
Did you read any of the articles?
No, I didn't read any of the articles.
So I read
They're all op-eds.
The griot, yeah. I read it was the griot. Like I said, this title of it was Amanda Seals is not a victim. If anything, she's a victim of her own hubris. So basically the main thing that kind of went on was like it spotlight that she does do a lot of discussions when it comes like, you know, white supremacy and things of that nature. But what at least this article was doing was highlighting like her lack of self-awareness. Mm-hmm. Cause like basically like one of the convos that she pointed out was like, she was like, oh, if you don't have a passport, you're a loser. And when folks got on her about it, she kept trying like double down on it. Basically trying to say like, oh, I'm not talking about people who just buy a single Nike suit. I'm talking about people who are buying multiple Nikes and Jordans. You need to get a passport. And if you don't have a credit card, you're a loser. And if you don't, you know, like she was basically doing shit like that. And it was like the lady on here, she had basically said she had spoke a lot about, you know, the predatory tactics of credit cards and things of that nature. She was just saying like overall though, like Amanda just lacks self-awareness. And that's why people don't like being around her. Like she doesn't see how she comes off as very, I don't know the word she said. Let me just read the last little article or the last sentence or the last
Yeah,
paragraph.
I've never
she
been
said.
around her. I just listen to her content sometimes, so I couldn't tell you anything about that. But I'm interested. But she also said that I think that's why she highlighted that all 3 of these articles are from people who she's never met personally in her life. So if they are about like how people feel around her, then they don't have their own first person experiences to
Basically, this the last couple paragraphs. She said, "What also comes along with a large platform is recognizing that not everyone is going to agree with you, and instead of trying to play victim when this happens, take an opportunity to clarify or course correct would be a better option. But ego is hell of a drug, and ego is where Amanda Stills is stuck. Amanda Stills is not a victim of anything but her own hubris, and until she recognizes that, she will always be crying every time anyone says anything about her." So I think she's just saying like a lot of the criticisms about her are coming from the fact that she just lacks a level of self-awareness when it comes to the people and the things that she said around her. They even noted like Insecure. There was a lot of people saying they didn't like hanging out with her or being around her after work and stuff like that. And I mean, the thing about here, and I can just tell this person has an agenda when writing this, the biggest thing is the fact that she lied on that black man. She said that there was a black man who was assaulting women or like basically making women uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. She doxed him. She put his picture out. I think it was a doctor and shit. And they come to find out like none of it was true. And like she barely apologized about it. And I think to me, that's where a lot of people like they put their bones into. That's why I don't rock with Amanda Seales. This article looks like it has, like I said, its agenda with this person when they talk about certain things. But they didn't bring that up. And I think a lot of folks,
that would have been something solid to bring up. I don't think she would have been able to refute that.
Yeah, that's the big thing where a lot of people who have an issue with her, that's where they really can, sink their teeth in because that shit was messed up. She didn't even really try to apologize for that after she did that. And that man, like, he lost a little bit of business in regards to that. People were, they looked at that dude a different way. Some people still think he did it, even though most of the information came out and cleared his name. Another thing too is that she has sided with Sean King when they was talking about Tamir Rice's mom.
She's dragged Sean King on several occasions.
But
I feel like
the instance that she put out was when they were talking about the activists, and she was basically saying she had an issue with like people trying to make money off her son, Tamir Rice's mama.
Yeah,
and she had spoke out and basically put the eye on Sean King, and basically. Amanda was like, "Oh, we shouldn't just be focusing on one individual, and like this isn't, this calling out isn't going to do anything to help things move forward." But it was like, "Nah, this is the nigga that's trying to, cash in on my son's death. I'm not trying to let that shit ride."
No.
So I think that was another part too where she rubbed people the wrong way, and again, that's the lack of self-awareness. So I mean, I thought it was interesting the article when I read it. That's what
it was. I didn't know about all that extra stuff that was going on around her.
Yeah, she just doesn't seem. She seems like one of those women. Like I always joke around. I describe with like she reads too much Bell Hooks books. And when you read too much Bell Hook, like you gotta understand, Bell Hook, she's a single, bitter woman. You gonna end up like her. She is.
She's a very intelligent woman and a scholar.
Okay, and you can be bitter,
and a womanist icon.
Just like a man can have a whole bunch of money and be in his tower. Alone and by himself. Shit, the same thing you could do when you searching all that information and trying to find the reason why
maybe
the person should be the victim every time.
Maybe
you gonna talk about this man Chance? Like you gonna get into him?
Okay, yes. Chance the Rapper is getting a divorce from his wife, the same wife that he made a whole album about loving. The same wife that apparently, this is news to me, Rhetoric was telling me earlier, that he fell out. He fell out with his manager because of this garbage album about loving his wife. So not only did you fall out with your manager, the album was garbage, and then you lost the subject of the album. So what was the point of doing it in the first place? There was absolutely no point. You're like the the level of critical acclaim and everything that you gained from acid rap was up here, and then it was like lowering and lowering and lowering and lowering with every project after acid rap. And then this one, what was it called? Coloring book?
The last one, it was like Big Day or something like that.
Yeah, whichever one. was just so bad.
So what was going on, just to kind of talk about with the manager, what was going on is the manager sued Chance, the rapper. So like December 2020, he had basically came out, and this is like the big day was the album that everybody hated. But he sued Chance because basically he was saying Chance was he supposed to get he basically had Chance in a 360 where he was gonna get 15% of net profits, and he also said Chance didn't pay him for unreimbursed expenses like $2.5 million in expenses. He went in also to say that basically this is what it says right here in the lawsuit. Pat, I'm just gonna say that because I don't feel like saying his last name. Pat, that was the manager. Also claimed that Chance fired him and replaced him with his father and Taylor Bennett, who's his brother, due to fan disappointment in the most recent album, which was The Big Day. The underwhelming fan support for his associated tour was also another reason.
He canceled the tour.
And basically, they said the relationship began to fissure when Chance in 2019 announced the July release date for the album. And then they go into what happened in regards to the lawsuit. But basically, yeah, he was probably telling him, hey, I don't want you to release this album. It's not going to be what you think. And
he heard the songs. He was like, this shit is garbage.
And he came out anyway, dropped it. And this was a Pitchfork article in 2020. And then also another Pitchfork article, Chance then in 2021, so about 2 months later, he sued him, stating a violation of trust in April 2020, which is the termination of their friendship. Among the allegations, he also said that he used his reputation and success to promote his own wine, which is called No Fine Print, and record company, which was Nice Work. So basically, you're doing a double sue thing that you got to do anytime that happens. Sue, counter sue.
I hope Chance starts doing drugs again.
Oh, shit. I
do. If the family and the wife and all of that, I mean, you stopped doing drugs, but you were with her for a while. But like, I don't necessarily need acid rap too, because I know you probably can't pull from that place that you were pulling from. You're working with different producers for some reason. You not with Save Money anymore for some reason. Your niggas that you was running with, now you're a father. Oh, and then that's what you're focused on. Amazing. The daughters, the children probably are being raised beautifully. The music is garbage, and apparently so is the marriage. Right?
Well, they didn't announce who divorced who initiated it.
Doesn't matter. The music was garbage, and so was the marriage.
I will say though, he let her drop the announcement, so that kind of, to me, it shows that he's probably in the winning seat. And so that's why he letting her kind of dictate, because she didn't say nothing crazy. She didn't violate. She acknowledged the separation.
She's never, I don't think she would have, from what I've gotten from the
that nigga was out there doing them dirty. She would have kicked that nigga back in. Because she said something about the dance. Remember he got the dance?
Yeah, but she's just never given me like, I'm going to drag this nigga in public for real. Like she seems like she's going to handle her shit privately.
I think if need be, she would. Because like I said, when the dance and him on the beach came, wasn't like she was saying, leave my husband alone.
Yeah, but I think that's because that was a public spectacle that she had to address publicly. Man, this is a private thing.
Man, that was the slap in the face of all the other stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You're not going to be with somebody who's touring, who's going out and doing these things, who's an artist, and not expect him to have other lovers. But when you go out there and you get videotaped having some chick dance on you, it's a slap in the face and it's disrespect.
And the chick looked like she not even with it. Like she looked like his hips were not giving.
I mean, that probably does some disappointment too. But
yeah,
I think
like,
it's more
I'm
so just
embarrassed now.
I think the more embarrassment comes where it's like when you generally have women in that life, for the most part, I'll probably say 60%. They don't care if you're actually cheating. They care that the cheating isn't public and front facing.
I would say that's how I would feel.
Like they just don't want her to feel like she can text you regardless wherever. Like they just want you to feel like there is a distinction in a way that you conduct yourself around me.
Act like a side bitch.
That's not. Or I mean, it's not about him. It's about how he's hiding it from you. No, because she could be violating, but if it's on another phone that he don't bring in the house, who cares?
Yeah, but I feel like this would be in my case. For me if I come into a situation, you're already rich, blah, 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 you have other women, I just need you to like make it like, for my ego, I just need you to behave like I'm the number one also. I mean, I need you to make everyone else fall in line and act like number 2, number 3, and number 4. Like, they need to act like it. So they can't be just blowing up your phone when they know you home. They know you home. They know your schedule. Fucking don't call this man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
but that's the only difference.
Their violation doesn't matter if you don't see it. And I think that's where a lot of this time it comes from, where I'm not hiding it anymore. Yeah. I'm not doing the things. I'm making it obvious. Hey, I'm leaving right now. I'm not even saying I'm going to the studio, or if I am going to the studio, like, I'm very clear that it's just, you know what's happening here. It's not no kind of hiding. It's not like I'm sitting here giving you a courtesy FaceTime in the studio. Oh, we out here cooking up, babe.
Randomly, like, also hypothetically, the bitch cannot be in the same state as us. I'm sorry. She got to be in the next state over. You can have a bitch in all of the border states. But I'm the this state bitch.
That's what I'm saying. You definitely would get your heart broken 10 times out of 10, yo.
Yeah, that's why.
You think a nigga not gonna have some in-state pussy? Like, you sick as fuck. Nigga work too hard not to have some additional in-state pussy. I'm just saying.
If you come home after, if you come back to this state, you need to come to me. I don't want you to have other options.
I just think it's hilarious that his manager, like, tried to warn him, like, hey, like, don't put your eggs in this woman's basket when it comes to your art. And now he's almost completely destroyed his career.
Why would you do that, though?
I mean,
why would you do that?
According to the album, he was in love.
No rapper has ever benefited from being in love musically. Not even R&B artists. Mary J. Blige, as soon as she was happy, we were like, this is garbage.
So what do you do when you get into that position where family is actually messing with your passion, art, and career in that way?
You make a decision. There's nothing you can do but make a decision. Because obviously, we've had this argument a couple times. Obviously, you do have to make a choice of who is going to thrive. The part of your life that you're pumping the most energy into is going to thrive the most. So if you decide that you're going to put your focus into your family, your career, especially if it's something like rapping, is going to suffer. Definitely, you're going to have less time to be able to engage in your passion. And then if you decide to engage in your passion 100%, you're going to have that the family that feels like, oh, dad wasn't there, he was never around, he didn't care about us, blah, blah, blah. We have all the things. But, like, I don't know this nigga, you know?
I think a portion of it is the fact that it's not that he's picking one or the other, he's letting them bleed into each other. And I think that's what's negatively affecting it, because there's not a lot of people like what we do, a lot of people can't do, where they can feel like they could talk to their significant other and yell and say crazy shit to each other and talk about the past and things like that on a public way. Like, this isn't unique. So when you bring that in there, you probably can't make the song like, my wife's a stupid bitch, she all up on my fucking head. Like, some shit that might really slap.
Dick was right there. But
said what? Dick was right there?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It rhymed better with bitch than head. Like,
I didn't feel like Dick was
that just didn't satify me at all. Like, it was right there.
I'm not the rapper. I'm just saying, like, the point is that he can't make a song about shitting on his wife, even if he's in the great creative space to make that song.
And then I feel like you can be in a loving, amazing relationship for a very long time and have a long, successful rap career. Snoop Dogg is an example. Obviously, he was rampantly cheating on that woman, but that's not the case. We're gonna put that aside.
Also, the music wasn't always hitting.
It wasn't.
No one's
but
saying,
he was with her for a long time and had a long-standing career.
Yeah.
And then now it's not hitting anymore. But I wanted to just say, Snoop Dogg has addressed his wife in so many songs. Every time he said "What it do, baby boo," that was like his little shout out to her.
But
so, like, you can still, like, do your little shout out to your wife. Way. Yeah, like, y'all know that's y'all thing. But then you can, like, I think Snoop Dogg didn't let the fact that he was in a loving relationship with, like, multiple children with the same woman for a long time bleed into his music. He still let it be known that he loved her with his little shout outs, but he didn't make a whole album. Nigga, you could have made a song or two. A whole album?
I think even with your example with the Snoop thing, like, that's being inspired, having a hint of inspiration. Like, when you making the whole album for your wife, she is literally cut her arm open and bled into your art. Like she's a part of it in a real way.
Yeah, she has.
He was able to really push that away. So let's just think about it. You put your heart into something and it's about your wife and people say it's bad. That's going to fundamentally make you question everything else that you're doing. Like you're going to look at the relationship in a way and you can see what the relationship is going to compromise.
If the art that your muse inspires is perceived to the public widely as garbage,
you're going to start perceiving the relationship as such.
You're going to, as an artist, if you take your artistry seriously, you're going to be like, I need a new muse.
It's not even just I need a new muse. I'm going to view the relationship like the art had reflected. Like this is what you made me create.
Yeah.
And it was
garbage.
Ass. So I can't continue to be with that. So hopefully he doesn't like do nothing crazy. I don't mind you getting on some little drugs here and there as long as you don't
have to do acid. Do some shrooms bars.
I mean, I hate when niggas get sober though. That's always
terrible.
That's always been like
Gucci Man sober. I'm happy for you, sir. You look way healthier.
Is he really sober? I think
apparently
he's just not doing
a
hard drugs. I think he's not really sober.
Well, no, he's smoking weed and drinking and stuff.
The most annoying sober nigga is Steve-O. Steve-O was top tier.
I don't think he was okay. The most annoying fucked up nigga is Steve-O.
No. Steve-O, when he was getting fucked up, was that nigga. Now, Mr. Clean Steve-O is the worst. Did you not hear what happened with him and Bill Maher?
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't.
Well, let's tell the people.
Go ahead. So, Steve-O, he refused to do an interview with Bill because Bill was smoking weed.
I think the best thing he's declined. I think it would be better to say he declined to do the interview with Bill because Bill refused to not smoke weed during the interview.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know how shaky Steve-O's like recovery is and how he might feel like it's fragile and he might feel like one wrong turn and I might be back in that space. So, which is probably why he felt like, Bill, I can't be around this because I'm not strong enough to be around this yet. And then Bill was like, fuck you, I'm going to smoke my weed regardless. So I don't think it was crazy that I literally commend Steve-O so much for refusing that interview because it shows us how dedicated to his sobriety that he is.
I'm going to be honest, man. I hate this notion of how sobriety even operates in the community that it is in. Like,
but addiction is a disease.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it's not a problem.
As long as you're operating with the foundational mindset that addiction is a disease. Everything built off that. Let me hear what you have to say.
No, I'm saying I understand that addiction can be a disease for some people, but
no, it is a disease for everyone.
Not
addiction
everybody's not the same. It's not the same for everybody. My argument is not even about that. My argument is about how they're taught. So when they teach you in AA, like I've been to meetings and stuff because I had friends who got like in trouble, so they had to go to the AA meetings and they wanted me to come with them. I've gone to those experiences. The way that they teach you and what the framing and the building blocks is that you are this weak person that can never defeat whatever you're battling and going through. You just
have to have coping mechanisms.
It's not even that. You can't even understand like moderation isn't a thing. There isn't kind of anything like where you can tell people like, hey, this is how you practice resisting when you have too much. Like there isn't anything like that. It's just looked at as this is the evilness that I have to fight, and
you just cannot engage at all.
Yeah, and it's also heavily like religious. So that's another problem I always have with it. Anytime that you have to kind of incorporate.
Oh, I didn't
religion.
know AA was that religious.
Oh, for sure, especially in the South.
Because I've never.
Especially in the South, it's heavily religious. Like it's usually like Bible verses are started to start the meeting and stuff like that. So to me, I have a problem when you frame people as a way that they're always going to be defeated by this condition. And when a lot of times the drug isn't really the problem. It's the consequences that come with the drug, meaning like the self-imposed ones, like making it illegal, making it that you can't get certain jobs to do it. Like those be the real causes of that.
I think the addiction being a disease is not the drug being illegal and stuff. It's regardless of if it was legal, regardless of how much detriment it's doing to your life, you cannot stop doing it.
Yeah, and there are some people who do have that. I don't think that every person who goes through AA who has addiction issues has to look at the vice as this all-powerful thing that if they have a bottle right in front of them, they can't do nothing. I don't
think you can say that because you haven't studied this. You're not.
I've listened to other people talk about addiction.
Yeah,
who have studied this,
we can listen to people talk about things all the time, but it doesn't mean that we have. But it doesn't mean that we have the the foundational knowledge, the nuanced knowledge around all of the things, like it doesn't mean that we have that. So when I hear from medical professionals that alcoholism is an addiction, and addiction is a disease, and then it's also like whatchamacallit, it can be passed down, it's hereditary, there's nothing you can do about it. So when you put all of that into play too, then the framework around why AA tries to give people these coping mechanisms the way they do is them saying that you can't fight against this. This is something that is inherently you. Like, I understand that 100%, and I don't think that we can sit here and be like, oh, you can fight it, or you can have a different mind state and blah blah blah. Like, it's not that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the fact that it's only taught one way, to me, already puts up a red flag, because that means, let me finish. I just let you talk, right? That means that there's already an agenda being behind that. I would argue a lot of those doctors say that because they don't really want to put in the real work that needs to be done to help people have moderate relationships with drugs. I think that there are some people who can have a relationship where it is abusive, where they're using that, and then they can dial it back and get to that. We've seen it in other instances. These people just didn't go off the deep end. So we have this conversation where, again, once you go into these programs, they label everything and handle everything like the same type of problem. And I'm saying that no, everybody doesn't have the same type of problem in relation with their vice.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that.
Yes, you can. I'm not the only person who said this. I'm saying I'm also
saying that,
regurgitating information that people who study this, who actually go in a little bit deeper, will tell you. Like, there's the Dr. Carl Hart. He was on the Breakfast Club. He was a dude who said we should make drugs legal. Like, he actively was doing drugs and got onto there and weaned himself back off the drug because he was studying this stuff and was being disciplined in that, and he had a group around him that could help him with that. And I'm saying if that could be a large part of other things, like if folks could go to get jobs, like when weed was heavily illegal around the country and people couldn't get jobs because of weed, you stop allowing them to get jobs. They can go to work, they can pay their bills, and they're not looked at as a delinquent because everything's all good. But when you put barriers on people when they enjoy doing particular things, then that's what happens.
I feel like we're not talking about the drugs that you can do and still function.
I'm talking about anybody who has an addiction or have a problem where they're too overzealous in their performances and like that when they get around that kind of environment, that they can dial it back if they've been taught and they go through actual real training that's not just telling them, oh, you're a weak bitch that every time you see this drug you're going to fall victim, so you have to be this stupid prick every time everybody's around that has it. AA
is not the only recovery program. That's the only recovery program that we're generally privy to, and that's the only one that you have experience with because that's the one you went to with your friends. But I'm sure there are other recovery programs that are not centered around religion and that aren't centered around weakness and things of that nature. But I don't know. That's something that I would need to look more into, but like I'm still gonna stick to my my general statement of like it's a disease and it needs to be treated as such. And that's all I have to say about that.
Roll a doobie, Steve-O.
And if you generally
loosen up,
if you feel like you're
stop being a bitch.
If you feel like you're too weak to be around drugs, regardless of the seriousness of the drug in the public eye, then like get up and walk the fuck away. Like that's fine. And if you feel like for your sobriety in the long term that you fully cannot be around other people that do drugs and drink, do that. And I love that for you. I support it and I love you for that.
It's funny how like, and you're not the only person that does this, but like when folks hear my arguments on things, they like for some reason think that I'm trying to say like people have to do one way or the other. When I'm
that's
like,
not what I think.
No, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying that's a common thing. Where it's like I'm saying that the option to be able to find the middle or gray area should be presented more than a hard pass or hard stop on any particular thing. Let's see what else. How did you care for Lotto's performance with TLC? So if y'all didn't see, there was the iHeart was it Music Awards. They had TLC perform, and who did the Left Eye performance was Lotto. So shout out to Chili. Chili used to come to my store when I used to be a manager.
Chili and T-Boss killed it, and then fucking Lotto came out like, I seen a rainbow yesterday. Girl, what is happening?
I don't think her voice fit that.
No, it didn't.
They were too desperate to have
she sounded like the most Atlanta bitch rapping that verse. I didn't like it one bit. I feel like y'all could have just let it play in the background with like a picture of her up on the big screen in the back, and we would have liked that just as much as Lotto. Lotto wasn't necessary.
I think they were just too desperate to have an Atlanta girl to replace Left Eye when they should have just had Lil Ma. Lil Ma killed her on the Left Eye on a Lifetime movie. Lil Mama?
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that she was in
Left Eye? I did remember. She did do a good job.
That was
playing
probably that was the best thing she ever did in her career.
There are so many other artists that you could have brought out that could have did the little like bouncy cadence that Left Eye did with that verse so much better than Lotto did. I like Lotto. I'm not hating on her in general, but like her voice and her cadence for that specific song just threw me off very much, and the Atlanta twang was very apparent in that verse, and it threw me off so much.
I think it's not necessarily Atlanta, because Left Eye's from Atlanta. It's the way that she sounds when she talks.
No, but when like
she has a very aggressive. I'm talking about Lotto though. Lotto has a very aggressive way of speaking.
That, and then Left Eye was like bouncy, and she kind of sounded like she was. I seen a rainbow yesterday. Like it was.
Yeah, just I'm saying that's you're saying what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Lotto voice sound is too aggressive to bounce that in that manner.
She sounds like such a bird.
I don't think she sounds like that. It's just it's not even like it's to me. That's not even what she sounds like. It just sounds like an engine revving up sometimes.
Oh no! I'm talking about like the way she ends her words sometimes, and not just the way she says words. Is just very like definitely like a bird. Like the fuck is you talking about? Like that's and then she rapped it just like that. Like she was rapping the songs just like this. Period. With this energy.
That's the only way that she knows how to perform it though. Like you gotta remember Lotto.
And I was like, what?
Lotto is like she been doing this since she was a little girl. Like
she has. She been here for a long time.
She's been molded in a particular way. She is like, you know how people say Drake is a caricature of what American rapper is?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how she grew up in rap, where she's creating a caricature of what's popular right now and what's going to get attention.
Yeah. That's a white woman for real.
I mean, if you look at her, like she looks like a white woman who got some work done.
That got a tan.
Yeah. Especially with
I don't want to criticize your blackness. I never want to do that to any actual black people if you black for real. I think you black.
If it's a man, you'll do it. You'll do it to Michael Porter Jr.
Who the fuck is that?
We talked about him before, but I just thought it was hilarious because he was on the Pivot show, and he talked about the girls' team and them not getting the same about his men or whatever.
Yeah.
So he has his own podcast, and he has Lena Rhodes on there. So you know who Lena Rhodes is?
I don't.
She's
because
a porn
Lena
star.
the Plug is the only one I know.
Yeah, but it's not Lena, it's Lana. I meant to say Lana Rhodes. She's a porn star, and she. So the reason why this is so funny is because Michael Porter Jr. is like super MAGA. Like he's like a MAGA type of dude.
Is he not black?
Yeah, he's still MAGA.
Oh my God.
So he's super MAGA dude, and so it's so funny that him and her having this conversation. Hold on, so let me just put the little clip that was going around, because she was just talking about what it was like basically being getting ready to set up for a scene. And also it's funny because she's alleged to be Blake Griffin's baby mama.
Okay.
Like you ever hear that where she talked about, it was a girl that talked about dating somebody from the Nets and got her pregnant and he don't really fuck with him?
No.
But this is the girl that said that.
Lana Rhodes. People are going to be surprised that we're on a podcast together. I actually came across one of your podcasts that you used to do, and you were talking about just the dark sides of the adult film industry and the porn industry, which you used to be a part of. And it really I was really interested. And honestly, like, inspired by your story. So let's start off just with your childhood.
So there's a lot of things that I've come to terms with recently that I didn't even realize were wrong in my childhood. And I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I had to go back and think, when was the first time that I had this feeling that like no one loves me, and just like overwhelming emotions to the point where it feels like you have to
I don't care about this enough to finish
The average
listening
life
to it. I can't
expectancy
even
of someone
lie
in
to
the
you.
You just meet someone in the lobby and like you're not attracted to them at all, and it's like, okay, now you have to fuck them and pretend that you like it.
No, that's definitely
It's
tough.
awful. Imagine like you just meet someone in the lobby. Pretend that you like it. Lobby. Imagine like you just meet someone in the lobby and like you're not attracted to them at all, and it's like, okay, now you have to fuck them and pretend that you like it.
No, that's definitely tough.
I can't imagine
Oh
that.
yeah, that's definitely tough.
I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine that one bit.
Oh shit, that's crazy, yo.
But that's really like that's why I low key commend corn stars, because y'all's ability, I disassociate on a regular basis without even trying, but y'all's ability to completely disassociate, like I'm sure y'all have to, because there's no way that there's a man inside you that you fully don't want to be there, and you're
We talked
in
about
yourself.
this. That's mostly just drug induced shit though.
It is, because they talk about that a lot too. They take a lot of drugs.
So it got to be like that. You good?
Yeah, it just got a little loose.
All right, we got one more thing we got to get into. Man, Shannon, man. Shannon, is Shannon Messy Boots?
Shannon is another messy bitch that lives for drama.
Like, cause I just been noticing like some of his like tactics he's been doing in regards to like engagement. It's like he's looking for that next person to like take shots at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of, I was noticing it because he just interviewed Glorilla, and them shits was all right. Just gonna say that, Glorilla, them shits is all right. She did a good job with those. Whoever was that doctor, you need to sign him up for, another round. Them shits was all right.
I can't stand you.
The shits was all right.
Like, you just gonna keep saying that?
I'm just saying. But
continue. Like, what the fuck?
So Shannon was basically like, he asked him about DJ Academics and Kai Cenat. He asked about that beef. And I noticed too, when he was talking to Offset, he asked him about Joe Budden. But in both of those clips, the title of it was literally the first question, and it was dead in like the first 2 minutes of the video. The rest of the video was them talking about other shit. And I'm just feeling like, yo, Shannon, what did you doing?
Clickbait.
That shit is all the way, like you literally just saying niggas' names just to write it down so you can put it on the clips.
Niggas be complaining about us doing a little clicky bait, whatever, with our captions. And then Shannon Sharp with 3.4 million views is doing the same shit. We gonna keep doing that. Y'all can suck a dick.
I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, yo, this nigga is wild. I'm thinking, okay, he gonna ask follow-up questions, and then I remember this is fucking Shannon Sharp. So the nigga's never gonna try to really dive deep into the shit.
No.
But they gonna out here make a whole click. They gonna try to make a whole view off of a nigga name you mentioned for 5 minutes and didn't say nothing of merit about. That shit is devious.
Because they know that's what people are gonna come to want to listen to.
But I mean, can you get the niggas that's gonna talk about it? Like, damn. This nigga, anytime she also asked Glow about the Damian Lillard shit, and we know he's married. Well, he's in the process of getting a divorce. But that shit was crazy too, how messy it was, and she just went with her, at the end of the day, they go in. I'm like, come on, we got it.
She said that multiple times throughout the interview.
Whoever is doing her media training, that was the expression that they was like, that anytime you get into a tough question, just say that. At the end of the day, the day go in. Yeah,
and anytime she has a question that she just doesn't necessarily have the answer to or doesn't want to give the answer to.
I need Shannon to find somebody who wants to talk shit about somebody on there, because the question.
Not everybody is like Kat.
The line of questioning is, Monique did a good job too. The line of questioning is not good enough to be able to extract what you need to be Sir Messy Boots. And right now,
it's not.
He has to step it up, because right now it's looking nasty. It's looking like elementary type shit. It looks like you just like trying to bait the conversation. And maybe he was doing that beforehand. I didn't really notice it from the clips I watched and the interviews I watched with Shannon Sharp. But it just seems now more prevalent than ever that he's out here searching for that moment with somebody again. Because even when he was talking about Johnny Manziel, he was trying to get him to shit on the other quarterbacks from Texas.
He mentioned it in the video, in the Glorilla interview, because her first 3 hits were so big. And then he was like, he chasing that again, just like how, everyone was telling me I'm not ever going to have another Cat Williams ever again. And he was chasing that again. So, yeah, he was definitely, that's what he's trying to do. He's obviously trying to chase the hype that he got from the Cat Williams interview. And that's something that naturally has to happen.
Nah, if he
you
really
can't chase that.
But I'm saying that's what you really want to go. You got to talk about like how Sexy Red. I mean, how you feel about Sexy Red being around Drake and all that shit. Like, because there's more beef there. Because Drake has talked about Megan. She's going on tour with Megan. Because that's why she's doing all this promo. They're going on an arena tour.
Yeah, they're dropping a single together soon. It should be coming out soon-ish.
This has to be big.
Soulja Boy sample beat. I saw a tweet that said the female rappers done found they formula, and the formula is Soulja Boy.
Yeah, for real. Now it's just taking old music and
taking old Soulja Boy
and doing a cover. Because nobody, for some reason, when y'all do it, and what's the other nigga name? NLE Chopper. When NLE Chopper and the women do it, don't nobody complain.
Did we talk about NLE Chopper's little clip on the last?
I
just want to say really quick about NLE Chopper. He ate that little clip up. It's giving cunt. It's giving like Zoolander. It's very like campy.
Yo, this nigga
like it.
This nigga
looked 17 though.
In an attempt to try to make a song about heterosexualness, you made a gay anthem.
Cunt.
That shit is the gay man anthem. What?
Period. Regardless. And I wasn't even talking about the song. I was talking about him performing it at Rolling Loud. The video of him performing it at Rolling Loud.
Seals it as a gay song.
Oh my God. I loved it so much. Like, it was so visually pleasing.
If I was a bad bitch, I want to fuck me too.
Hey.
I want to suck me too.
Hey.
I want
trap me too. Like, listen, first of all, we know.
Sika said, I want to trap me too.
Yeah. We know the little hook. It's a little catchy catch.
And then putting me too in it is kind of slick diabolical.
And he was
like, that shit is slick diabolical.
The little dancey dance that he was doing with it, I like it. I can't lie to you.
That shit is horrible. He needs to be stopped.
I don't like I'm probably not gonna like the song. I've never liked the NLE Chopper song ever in my life, but it was really giving Zoolander tea, and I was like, this is giving kind of high fashion. Like, I like it. Period. Done.
It seemed like Azalea Banks wrote that song for him.
Azalea Banks definitely wrote that new song that Doechii and JT putting out together, because Doechii is, we be talking about Sons of Button. Doechii obviously is a daughter of Banks. Because that flow, I was like, that is Azalea Banks. And it's okay, because Doechii's young and she probably grew up listening to Azalea Banks. And she probably was inspired by Azalea Banks. I hope Azalea don't drag her for fucking filth, and I hope Azalea get on this remix instead of being a messy bitch, please. That's all.
They said she changed up her comments on Beyonce. I was hurt. She didn't stand on business. She liked.
Oh, so she liked the album.
Yeah, she didn't stand on business.
Yeah, she was like, take it back.
I ain't like that.
I still there are a couple songs on the album that I've heard that I like. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't given the album a chance because it's a country album and I hate country music and I don't care whether it's coming from Beyonce or not. That's all. I like the last album and the album before that and the album before that, and then I'm gonna like the next album. But this one specifically, not for me. You're not gonna get reviews from this from me. But that one song, bounce on that shit, bounce. Bounce on that shit, bounce. Bounce on that shit, bounce. I was like,
I just don't want to hear any of y'all who love these music that Beyonce putting out questioning anything a man do, saying you too old to be doing that. That's all I just want. I just want consistency across the board. That needs to stop.
First of all, we're going to always make exceptions for Beyonce, and then I'm going to continue to drag men, period, and that's the end of that.
If her old ass can say, I want to pop on it, don't be mad when a nigga talking that fly shit on his music. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to continue to drag these niggas and uplift Beyonce. So what you're saying makes no sense, and there's no reason to say it.
No, there's plenty of reasons to say it, man. I'm exposing.
I'm going to continue to hate all of the men except for you.
And I'm going to expose you for it.
Yep. Yeah, whatever.
Because I could never hate women.
Whatever. Like, you can expose me for hating men all you want. Expose me. I want to be exposed.
I'm going to do the expose.
Expose me.
You look like when Ray J wanted that nigga to break his glasses. And he said, break them right now.
And then he broke them immediately.
Nigga snapped the fuck out them weak ass
very
shades.
easily, too.
That's what that Raycon
That was Speedy.
No, I don't like that nigga.
You be hating on Speedy and his interview style.
That shit corny. That was the funniest. That was his best interview moment. All right, let's get out of here.
Speedy kind of does interviews like Nodwar. That's what he reminds me of. Do your thing. He
disrespectful.
He just
fuck.
does.
That was disrespectful as fuck.
The only
Narwhal will go to your first best friend and get the socks that nigga gave you.
Speedy asks questions about random childhood shit, and rappers all the time be like, "How the fuck did you know that?"
Does he bring the item with him too?
No. He don't bring items.
That nigga Narwhal don't do that then.
I said he's
Narwhal do the rap and the track.
He's inspired by Nardwar, though. He has a similar interview style.
He'll
bring up something from mad long ago, and then every Speedy interview I've ever watched, the person has been like, where the fuck did you get that information?
He got it from Nardwar.
Okay, maybe.
He's stealing info.
That's still a source, so that's my statement stands.
All right, man, let's get out of here. Life is a labor of love, so let's keep building those moments together. And remember, your job is not your family, and the only thing you should be exploiting is these corporations. Talk FNF TV. Tell them what they need to do.
Follow us on all of the social media at talk.fnf.tv, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and subscribe, leave a comment. It's much appreciated. Love you guys.
We out of here.